Hey everybody, it's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? We are so happy you're here. Tonight is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. Listen, all my shows are fun and all my shows are special. We always have a good time, but tonight, I got to tell you, I am beside myself because we have such a special guest. It's someone that I just love. I love for all the right reasons. And she's with us tonight. She's lovely. And I cannot wait. We're going to bring her on. Get ready. It's Amanda McBroom. That's who we're bringing on.
It's my love. Day's free and the night's long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. I'm Jesus. I'm as famous as I want to be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Yay. Okay, so I'm busting out of my whatever. I'm just busting out with excitement. I'm so happy. I have been a fan of Amanda's for so long, as have all my friends. And so we're just so happy that we got the opportunity to have her on the show. She's going to join us momentarily. So let me see now, pop in comments. So far, Danielle from D's Enlightened Edits has joined us. Hey, Maria and Leo, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you too, my love. Danielle is an amazing friend of ours who happens to be a spiritual medium. She is a healer, a guide. She has all kinds of classes. She does quantum sessions. I had a session with Danielle that blew my mind. And so ever since then, I've been singing her praises. So if you want to get a hold of Dee, she is on Instagram. She is on Damsel Designs, right there, DS Enlightened Edits. So that's how you can find Danielle, our friend. Lori Towers has joined us. Hi, Lori Towers. Lori Towers is an amazing journalist, DJ, bass player, press agent, incredible everything. And she has Leo, pop in with me for a minute, because Leo knows all about Lori Towers and John. Leo, you listen to those shows.
Every Wednesday night, I am there listening to Sheena's Jungle Room in the Underground. I'm an underdweller.
Underdweller. Oh, I love that. So,
and rumor has it that we're going to be getting a cookbook ready for the Underground, because there's a bunch of us that cook as we're listening to the music, and we're typing in and chatting. So a lot of great stuff and a lot of great music. I mean, some great underground and history lessons that John puts out there. I love it.
Yeah, so you can catch that. And they also do Jazz Just After Dark, Marker Park Radio. So Lori Towers and John Pietro are friends and amazing. They're disc jockeys. They're radio journalists. They are historians, music historians.
Freedom fighters.
Cool, yes, freedom fighters. Really cool stuff. We are, my darling, says Lori. We love Lori Towers. And then my cousin Rena Crinelli-Bergi is joining us from Massachusetts. I was with her yesterday. I drove to Boston.
I heard that.
And back in 24 hours. I just missed my family. I hadn't seen them since Christmas, and I needed to see my family. So we had a.
Well, you're gonna be up there pretty soon, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm doing a show May 18th. It's a Thursday night at Club Cafe. Me and my amazing musical director, right there. She is an angel on my shoulder. Lynn Ortish, genius, is joining us. Mandar has joined us. Mandar Chick Magnet. Mandar, I'm telling you right now, tonight you have to behave yourself. Because
there's royalty.
Yes, we have royalty in backstage, and she is not to be messed with. Okay, so you better curb it tonight. And
Danielle said I look snazzy tonight. Well, of course, I had to dress up for company.
To dress up. You see, me too. I usually wear T-shirts, but because Amanda McBroom is in the backstage, we had to look better.
We coordinated. You're wearing the.
We had to class it up. Victor Flores has joined us. Victor is the executive chef at Joe Allen, at Bar Centrale, and at Orso. He is a friend of mine. And if you are in the theater district and you are seeing a show before or afterwards, you must stop by at one of those 3 restaurants I mentioned, Orso, Joe Allen, or Bar Centrale, and it's gonna just blow you away. Victor is the most amazing chef. He is going to be on our show very soon. We're going to coordinate that.
Yeah, when you go there, you go ahead and you keep eating.
Keep eating. That's right. And Jeffrey Campbell, our wonderful friend. Jeffrey Campbell, I can't believe you're joining us. He is an accountant by trade, but an incredible classical
pianist. Oh my God, I miss him playing. I miss him posting every once in a while some classic interludes.
Absolutely, Jeffrey needs to post soon, but he's in tax season, as we know. Let me tell you, I'm so proud of myself. I paid my taxes. I
found some more deductions, so I'm doing mine. As soon as I get out there, I'll be finishing mine up. But I wanted to say, Jeffrey Campbell, I miss your black eyed pea dip for New Year's. That's what I miss.
And with shout out to Stephen Alwell and all our regulars. Okay, so Barry Silver has joined us. Hi, Barry. He's going to be that's my birthday, Barry, the 21st. And I'm having a birthday party on the 22nd at Stonewall Inn. You're invited, Barry. I'm going to send out evites this week. Okay.
Maria, I have to say,
yes,
there is a new recording, and we should listen to it because I love Amanda's voice.
Me too, and her songs. So if you don't know who Amanda is, perhaps you do live under a rock. I don't know. Some people maybe enjoy rocks.
Maybe.
But if you don't know who Amanda McBroom is, you will know tonight.
This is a new recording with her and Vince Gill, and it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need.
Wow. Do you have chills? You have chills, right?
We love that song. She's written that song. It's been in our life forever, but just her voice with it and this new recording is just very... It's giving me chills. It's beautiful.
I have 1,000 things to say about everything that oh my God, that I've heard. Okay, so we just want to tell everybody that Amanda is going to join us, and we're all going to behave ourselves because, as Leo said, we have royalty in the back. Keith Torgan has joined us. Keith is an amazing songwriter himself, and he has a show coming up. Keith, type that in. I know you have a show coming up at Green Room 42 as well with his beautiful wife.
And if you look right behind me, there is a Torgan.
Yes, there is a Torgan piece of artwork that I ordered for Leo. I had it commissioned, and Keith Torgan, and I have one. Mine is not, I can't reach it easily. But anyway, okay, so Keith Torgan is also an artist as well as a songwriter. All right, I can't wait any longer, Leo.
Okay.
I can't. We have to bring her in. I'm so excited.
Do we have the fanfare drum?
Ladies and gentlemen, Amanda McBroom. I'm so happy you're here.
Oh, you guys are killing me. You're hilarious.
I know we're goofballs, Amanda. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're so happy you're here, and Leo and I love you. We just love we just love you, and we've always loved you. But I was so excited when Ralph reached out and said, "Hey, can I, Amanda is doing a bunch of new things, and can we get her on the show? I was like, are you, what? Of course you can get her on the show. So anyway, Amanda, let's start with your dates coming up, and then we'll talk about other things. And we will keep talking about the dates. But okay, so you have a bunch of dates coming up, and you have a release with
Ann Hampton-Callaway.
Ann Hampton-Callaway, new stuff. So go ahead.
Oh, Lordy. Okay. Well, first, you named my 3 favorite restaurants in New York. Thank you very much. And is that your voice on the opening credits?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, Mama.
Oh, thanks, honey.
What? Holy, well, okay. New biggest fan.
Oh, my God. This is great.
I'm thrilled. All right. So, okay. The cheap plug is... I'm appearing for the first time in St. Louis at the Blue Strawberry on April 26 and 27, and then I'll be at Feinstein's in Carmel, Indiana on April 28th. Both of these are new venues for me, and I'm really excited. And then on May the 12th is when the duet that Ann Hampton and I wrote together will be released on Spotify.
And that's called Almost.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Wow. So have you worked with her in the past as a co-writer, or is this a new thing? I know you've performed with her before, right?
Oh yeah, she is one of my major gal pals.
Yeah, I love that. Don't you love that?
I'm a huge fan of hers, and we've written a few little things in the past. And then the short story of this last one, I had written a lyric and put it in a drawer for about 5 years. And Anne and her beloved were spending the night with me. We were having a jammy party, and I put this little piece of paper out, and I said, Anne, I don't know if this is of any interest to you, but would you be interested in writing the music to this lyric? And she looked at it and she said, sure, come on, let's go. And we had like 3 other people there for breakfast. And I said, no. It's just you and me. We got to be private. It's got to be serious. We got to be deep. And she said, no, come on, everybody. So everybody grabs their bagels and we all go out to the piano. And she looks at this lyric and she puts it on the piano and she thinks for 20 seconds and she goes, blah, blah, blah. And there's the song I've been trying to write for 5 years.
Unbelievable.
She's amazing.
I love that story. You know, when people are connected on that level, it's just like the floodgates just open up. All this creativity just is on at the forefront. I love that, those connections. And I don't know about you, but I feel like these are connections from another world. It's like a higher vibration that we connect. Many years ago, I was in therapy, and I remember I had recorded my first album and played it for my therapist, and she said, you know what? And I always want to share this with other artists because I think that you'll appreciate it. She said, artists, especially singers and songwriters, have the luxury of having their highest selves recorded. And I always remember that. She said, like a nurse may have an amazing day where she saves a life or something, and it's not recorded. It happens. It's that she knows it happens. Someone else knows, but it's not to be shared with the world. Other people do amazing things. Maybe someone is driving down a highway and avoids an incredible accident. That's not recorded for anyone else. Right. But we as singers and songwriters have that luxury of having that highest vibration, encapsulated, frozen in time, and it can be shared over and over and over again. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, powerful.
I know.
Powerful, yes.
So that brings me to your voice is completely angelic. To me, it is connected. It is locked in. Right? Am I right, Leo? Yes. It's connected to. I was talking about you all weekend too, because I also work at Brandy's, and Bobby Belfry is there. Lauren Muffson, amazing singers, and so we were all talking, and most of them have seen you live. John Satcham has seen you live. As a matter of fact, your last show at Feinstein's, 54 Below.
Right.
He came from that show and came to Brandy's and said, "You're not." Oh my God! I saw Amanda McBroom. It was incredible.
Oh, yay!
So your voice is just this angelic sound. But let's talk about your songwriting. Their stories. Yeah. Their stories. I just saw an interview that you did, and you called them love letters. Your songs were love letters.
Yes. Yes.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I've been doing all the talking because I'm so excited that you're here. But Leo, stay on.
We're giving you a history of your history. Just so you know, we're so excited.
I love the history of my history. Thank you very much.
So the songwriting part. I mean, your voice. Oh my God, we're freaked. We love your voice, but the songwriting as well, and it's locked in so perfectly. You're so connected to it emotionally. So tell us, like for instance, with this song, you had a line and you shared it with Ann, and then it happened. Yeah. But your other songs, like Errol Flynn, is Leo's favorite, right, Leo?
Oh, love the story of that. Yes.
And my favorite is Portraits.
Story. That's the love letter that I wrote to my father. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's the tagline, and just with him, and the proudness that he shared with you, and that just the whole story. I've been watching the documentary on country music, and they're talking about the stories. And I love how you've come back and you're working your stories with Vince Gill, who's an ultimate country artist there as well. And I love that you're back to storytelling again in the truest classic sense. And as Maria said, I'm in discussion, all of you, girl. Your voice is just timeless for me. It reminds me of a past time, and it's so beautiful. It holds the strings. I love it. I love it.
Old voice. It's true. And, you know, I didn't start out as a songwriter. That came out of the blue.
Wow.
I had no idea. I mean, when I was in high school, my aunt bought me a guitar, and I became a folk singer, and I would sing at the livestock shows, and I would sing, you know, but I was an actress, and I was going to be Liza Minnelli. And so, you know, my whole thing was theater and musical theater, Shakespeare, something, but musical theater predominantly. And the songwriting was just that didn't happen until I was like in my late 20s maybe, and I've been doing theater and musical theater for a long time. And just one day I picked up a guitar, and the man who was my love at the time, who was my husband and still the love of my life, came home from the show, and I had a day off, and I said, what this is, and I played it for him. He says, oh my God, you just wrote a song. I said, what? He said, you just wrote a song, and it's good. And I said, far out. But my approach to the songs is always, and they're little monologues, little one-act plays. Wow. That's just the stories come into my head as, what if I am the wife of this person, and how would I feel? And then I write myself little dramatic monologues and set them to music.
Well, there's the acting part connected to, so it all makes sense that the acting happened first.
Yeah. And then, of course, the two major musicals that I was in after a few attempts at New York one was called Jacques Brel is Alive and Well and Living in Paris.
Of course.
And doesn't know who Jacques Brel was. One of the most astounding, powerful storytellers. And the other one was a musical about Harry Chapin, one of the great Americans. So I was very much influenced by songwriters who were storytellers.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes total sense. Now, so The Rose you wrote way before the movie The Rose.
Way before.
Right? Yeah. And they had gone through a bunch of different songs for that. And I mean, you'll tell the story, but I was shocked to hear that it was originally dismissed. They didn't take your song, right?
Right. Well, you know, I was very fortunate. The original version of this movie, it was called The Pearl, because that was Janice's nickname.
Oh, right.
Her family wouldn't allow them to use it. So they said, we'll just call it The Rose.
Okay.
And the next piece of the miracle puzzle was that they did not hire a single composer, which is what they usually do for film. They were looking for because it's a rock and roll and there were all these different bands, they were looking for all different writers.
Wow.
And then I didn't know how to submit a song. I wasn't a songwriter. I was an actor.
Wow.
My girlfriend was a songwriter, and she said, listen, I know you wrote this song. You have this little song called The Rose, and we're submitting some of my songs to the movie studio. Do you want me to submit your song? So I grabbed my little El Chizo cassette, and I handed it to my beloved friend, Michelle Browerman, and she submitted it to them, and Bet liked it, and that's how it wound up in the movie.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it. Now, let's talk about Michelle Browerman.
Yes.
You have been friends for how long?
We met in 1974.
Wow, that's so amazing.
It is so amazing.
Beautiful. What a beautiful story. So tell us about that connection and how you're still connected and doing music together.
Michelle, I met Michelle. I was living in a funny little apartment in Hollywood, and somebody pointed out this bronze MG convertible and said, "You see that car? That car belongs to a music producer. You should introduce yourself." So I don't know what overcame me, but I wrote a note and said, "I write songs. I live in apartment 203," and I stuck it under his windshield.
Wow.
And said, "I'd like to listen to your songs." And so I gave him another cheesy little cassette, and he listened to that, and he said, "You've got to meet my girlfriend." So he introduced me to his girlfriend, Michelle Browerman.
Wow.
Right. And the two of us sort of went, "Hello." And later, they were no longer a couple. We were a songwriting couple, writing songs together since 1974.
Oh my God.
I love that. I love that. I don't think that kind of history can exist anymore the way that it did for you in that time. And, you know, the 70s, almost, it was like the last chance where you could go to Hollywood and sit on the stool and maybe get, you know, discovered. I don't think that time exists anymore, man. I'm so jealous. Take me back to it.
No, that time doesn't exist. Now we have TikTok.
Right.
That's a whole other, you know, genre, but it is giving certain people opportunities to write and sing, you know. So
that's true. That is true.
Absolutely.
I loved the 70s.
Oh, me too. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. I personally feel like the best music ever written came out of the 70s as far as singer-songwriters.
Yep.
There's a lot of different decades for great music. I'm not saying, I think it's all great and it's all useful. But for as far as singer-songwriters go, that was my favorite era.
Absolutely.
And Broadway too. I loved Broadway in the 70s. I thought there was so much amazing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Now, here's what happened in the last few days. Every time I mentioned your name to someone, they said, "Oh my God, I love her. I did this with her, or I did that with her." So Wendy Lane Bailey says hello.
I love the Wendy.
How much do we love Wendy Lane Bailey?
I love her.
And she and my musical director are Lynn Portis, who's amazing.
I know.
Okay. They just did the United Solo Festival together,
Okay.
and so that's their connection. And then Carlos Knott, who is a friend, said, I took a master class with Amanda, and she wrote me a note that he has framed in his apartment.
Aww.
How sweet is that?
That's wonderful. I loved Carlos. I loved him.
I know. And then Melissa Driscoll said that she did Follies with you in the early 2000s.
Yes, absolutely.
So everyone, by the way, your reputation precedes you, not just as a songwriter, but as a lovely human to work with. So I thought you should know that. Okay, so...
And there's a generation of children that are going to know your music.
Yeah, from
songs here and there.
Okay, so tell us about this, Amanda.
Again, it's Michelle's fault.
Always Michelle's fault.
It was Michelle's fault because she was friends with the producer of the Land Before Time series, and they had the first two films. The first one was Randy Newman did all the music, and the second film I think was Leslie Bricusse, and they were looking for somebody else to write the next Land Before Time thing, and we got the gig, and it was more fun than anything. I tell you, writing songs for baby dinosaurs, you know, you take a song and then they'd say, "Oh, a baby dinosaur would never say that." Oh, okay. Well, we won't say that. But it was, instead of love songs and trying to think of, oh God, another love song, we're writing songs about mud and burping and trees. It was more fun. It was like writing a musical, a Broadway musical every year. It was great fun.
And Danielle says, I loved Land Before Time. See? And Andy Prasky, Bet beat out. Okay, he says, Bet beat out Barbara Streisand and Donna Summer winning the Grammy for The Rose.
That's right.
You are a Grammy winner.
Well, I am. I'm a Grammy helper. Golden Globe.
Let me see. So Carlo Jeffrey Campbell says Errol Flynn is the most beautiful song. It is. It is the most beautiful song. And I got to tell you, my favorite is Portrait. It's so painful that I literally every single time I hear it, I feel like someone punched me in the stomach. But it's a good feeling. It makes me feel my feelings, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. If you don't want to feel your feelings, ladies and gentlemen out there, don't listen to Amanda McBroom, because you are going to feel all your damn feelings, like it or not. Okay, so now you could very easily just keep writing, rest on your laurels, enjoy the beautiful sun in California. So why do you continue to tour and do these incredible shows that we thank you for? But what is it in you that wants to do it?
Well, it's really interesting. When COVID happened and the world shut down, I thought to myself, is the universe telling me it's time to stop? You've been long enough, Is it time to just put on my rubber boots and stay in my garden for a long time? And I thought, well, let's explore that. And I thought, you know what? I'm not so sure. And then the universe just kept saying, do you want to sing here? Do you want to sing? Once the world started to open up again. And I realized, of course, I am in that infinitesimally small piece of the music business where the older you get, the more they like you. Marilyn May being the queen. But it's interesting because when you're in rock and roll, you're not allowed to be my age. But I was never in rock and roll, so I'm allowed to be my age. And that's really interesting that people still want to hear what I have to say. And I am grateful. God knows I love to sing.
What a beautiful way to put it. It's true, cabaret and all those beautiful venues. It's true, they appreciate everyone.
Yes, it's a free market for everybody, which is wonderful.
And I know Marilyn May was just at Carnegie Hall. She's 95.
95. I ran into her. We were rehearsing for our show at 54 Below at a wonderful rehearsal studio called Piano. And she was coming in one door as we were going out the other. And we know each other. And we had a big hug. And I said, so, okay, what is the only thing you've changed? She said, my shoes aren't so high anymore.
I love that. Okay, so speaking of any changes and all that, but my question to you as a singer, as a performer, as a poet, and as a songwriter is, were there any stories that you told early on? And when I say stories, I mean songs or anything that you wanted to get across that you told in the beginning that have changed for you now? Like, that whole Both Sides Now. Is there anything that you look at and you think, wow, I completely feel different about that song now?
There are a few, but you brought up one that I stopped singing for a long time, which is The Portrait. I just stopped because I thought, I don't know if this is, I'm not in the same place I was when I wrote it.
Right.
But I'm going to revive. I have a concert coming up here in California, and I thought I'm going to revive it and see how it feels now, so many years later. That was really interesting. It was one of my early songs, and I wrote it after a dream that I had. I lost my mother when I was quite young, and and she just disappeared completely from my consciousness. And I think that was just because it was a trauma, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I hadn't thought about her or dreamed about her in maybe 20 years. And she came to me in a dream, and it was a real dream. It wasn't just...
It was a visit. It was a visit, in other words. Yeah.
A visit. And it was the first time I had thought about her in about 20 years. And then when I got up, and it was like The Rose. It was another one of those of just automatic writing. And so I sang it for a long time, and I knew that it was very powerful for people. But I had to pull back because, of course, I've got that sad song about my mother. I've got this sad song about my father.
Right.
And at one point, I was doing a concert, and I had done the Errol Flynn song about my dad, and somebody requested the portrait about my mother. So I did that, and afterwards, this woman came up with her 14-year-old son, and said, I want to introduce you to my son. He enjoyed it. He says, what's going to come next? You're going to write a song about your dead dog?
Oh, no.
It was hilarious. I said, zing! Right, got it.
Right, but you know what?
One of those per show.
Yeah, but that's a boy, right? So that's a young boy. Boys have, I know because I teach, boys struggle with feeling their feelings. And they will do, we used to get actually pamphlets like throughout the year. It was called Beginnings, Middles, and Endings. And it would be boys and girls. And like how they would behave differently. And I always remember that it would say in the column for girls that they would get very sentimental at the end, and a lot of crying, and boys would fight. They would pick fights. And it explained because young boys have problems, not problems, they have challenges with their emotion.
Yeah.
So that explains it. So, you know, but you got his attention.
Oh, yeah, and he loved the show. And
Okay.
he never been to a cabaret show. I said, what do you think? This is your first time. What do you think? And he said, I really, really like it.
Okay.
He was used to Led Zeppelin and REO
Of
Speedwagon.
course.
You know, so it was just a different animal, but it worked for him, and that was very gratifying.
Okay, so let me ask you, when you do a show, so these songs, obviously, they're heavy-hearted, right in there. They carry a lot of history and all that for you. But what is the song, or are there several songs that when you're doing a concert, once you get to it, you think, oh, I can't wait to sing this one. I could sing this over and over.
No, I have a lot of very funny songs. Michelle and I firmly believe that if you're going to do, as Ann and I always say, you got to buy the ballad barge, you know. You got to buy your ballad. Marilyn May always says you got to do 3 light ones before you can do the heavy one.
I love that.
2, Marilyn, maybe 2. So I love the funny material because I love to make people laugh. I love to make people relax so that then I can go doop and get them.
Yes.
Get them with a little emotion. Errol Flynn always I love to sing.
Yeah. So beautiful.
By Jacques Brel, I love to sing because that's my history.
Yeah. Also, on your website, which I encourage everyone, I think it's A. McBroom, right?
Somebody else called Amanda McBroom, so it's A. McBroom.
Okay, amcbroom.com. I highly, highly suggest you go and visit it ASAP and just scroll and take it all in because there's so much beauty to take in. And there's is it called like something of the month or something? You have months like March and...
Oh, every once in a while. For a while, I did a thing called Buried Treasures.
Yes.
Once a month, I would release, I call them my children, the children that have been stuffed in the closet for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And I would just sort of let them out because otherwise, you know, nobody's going to sing them if they've never heard them.
Right.
So once a month, last year I was releasing them, and I'm going to start doing that again.
I really enjoyed that. And so the ones that, there was one, I mean, they're all beautiful, but they're just, man, I wrote it down, and now what have I done with it? Okay. For Nothing. Oh, my God. Wow.
That's the very early one, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, it's just a beautiful, just everybody go to, that's your homework for me. That is your homework for me. A. McBroom, go and check it out, Buried Treasure, and just check out the whole website, and then you'll have all of Amanda's dates as well.
White shadow on a blackened wall.
Woo!
Of a young boy standing tall, pointing skyward where ashes fall on nothing.
Gorgeous.
Are we gone without a trace? A burning ball in empty space. Even God turned.
How does it feel to be 23? That's what your voice sounds like. Just like youthful.
Oh, well, you know what? That was recorded a while ago when I had some top notes that I don't have anymore. But boy, if I got some bottoms.
Well, you know what? I'm so glad you said that because one of the things about singing, and I agree with you, is as you get older, we some of our top notes are more difficult. I will agree with you because I am also a singer. But I got to tell you, I love the lows.
Me too.
And my favorite singer of all time is Karen Carpenter.
Oh.
And what made Karen Carpenter different? It was her low notes.
Her low notes, absolutely. Yeah, that was and Calloway.
Yes.
She also has the stratosphere. That girl's got something like a 72 octave range.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the dates again in case people weren't here for the beginning of the show. Amanda has dates coming up Wednesday, April 26th at 7:30 at the Blue Strawberry showroom, and that is 364 North Boyle Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri. The Wednesday and Thursday, April 26th and 27th. Folks, I'm not joking. Get your tickets immediately. Don't mess around. These shows are going to sell out. And if
you want tickets, you can go to bluestrawberrystl.com. Bluestrawberrystl.com.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Leo. And then Feinstein's Friday, April 28th. But Feinstein's in the Hotel Carmichael, right?
Yeah.
And that's in California, right?
No, it's in Carmel, Indiana.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Carmel, Indiana. Actually, we have lots of listeners from out there. So write all this down. It's all on Amanda's website as well. And there's the poster, which we will also, after the show, we will load the poster onto my page and our show page. And another thing I could tell all our audience, please feel free to share the show anywhere you like, as many times as you like, and also feel free to, to share the posters, because this is a beautiful experience that you're going to have, whether you are a cabaret singer, whether you just appreciate beautiful music, and teachers too. I can't say enough to music teachers and acting teachers. Amanda, let me tell you, I used to use your stuff in class because I also teach, and I used to teach different things, but I used to use your stuff in class all the time for like telling a story.
Wow.
Yeah, all the time.
Thank you.
Throw
one more little thing at you, just in case you might be tempted. Michelle Browerman and I are going to be teaching a masterclass workshop in songwriting in Tuscany.
Tuscany?
In Tuscany, Italy.
Oh my God! When is that?
June 17 through 24 in a villa in Tuscany.
Come on, that's ridiculous.
No, it's ridiculous.
It can't get any better than that.
No, and.
Oh my God! All right, so is that also going to be on your website?
That's the website. Yeah.
Wow.
Food and music. Oh my goodness.
And Michelle and Amanda, I can't believe it. That's amazing. Well, all right. So speaking of food, if it's okay with you, we're going to do our food section of the show.
Yes.
Which is called, go ahead, keep eating. So, Amanda, one of the things I do to stay creative, because this show is about celebrating creative people and the creative process, and just, I cannot ask people to come on and talk about their creativity if I do not continue to create every week. And one of the things I love to do is cook. So this week, what did I make? Hold on a second. Oh, wait, I can't believe it's in the other room, my shrimp. Anyway, I don't have to go get it. But I made shrimp with garlic. I always have to read it because I put so many things and stuff. I can't believe I forgot it because it's in the fridge. But it's okay. You can picture it in your head. Shrimp with truffle butter and garlic with peas over mushroom risotto.
Oh, my.
Thank you. That's what I made this week.
Oh, my God. Can I come over?
You never make mushroom risotto.
Listen, Amanda, you can come over anytime. And when you're in New York, please let me know ahead of time, and I will cook for you because I love to cook.
I'll be there in September, honey.
Okay, that would be so fun.
Absolutely.
Definitely, okay? I promise. I will cook you, and you just tell me what you like and what you don't like. I'll make that again. I'll make this again. Shrimp with truffle butter and garlic with peas over mushroom risotto. For a salad, we have romaine, red onion, hot house cucumbers, which are very much like English cucumbers, dill, fresh dill, Bosc pear-infused vinegar, and Milanese gremolata olive oil. So that is going to be delicious.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I used to cook and have people over during the show because we would go live. This was before COVID. And then during COVID, we started doing remote stuff. So, but if anybody ever wants to join me, they're welcome to. Maybe when you come in September, you can come back on the show, but do it in studio with me.
I would love it.
And I'll cook for you. And you can bring anyone you like.
Deal.
And for dessert, I'm having a banana cream pie. Don't ask. I'm off my diet today.
Maria, give me that. Put it right here. Put it right here.
I'm off my diet just today. I'm going back on it tomorrow. Okay. So now, do you have rituals before you do a show? Are you one of those people that has to do the same thing to get ready, or do you just kind of like set list? Do you tend to mix it up?
Because Michelle and I have worked together for so long, the minute I hit the stage and find out who the audience is, I mean, I do have a set list, and it's got a structure to it. I call it an E-ride at Disneyland, like they used to have when you could afford.
Yeah.
And but there's some things I can slot out or in depending within 30. Don't you find when you're performing within 30 seconds, you know who they are?
Oh, absolutely.
You know whether they want to laugh, you know whether they want to cry, you know whether it's going to be work or whether it's going to be fun. And so because I've worked with Michelle for so long, I can say, switch it out to this, they want to laugh, let's go here,
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I'm at Brandy's and people say, oh, you're going to go up, what are you going to sing? What are you going to sing? And I always say, I have no idea until I get there.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I mean, I have 2 books of songs that I can do, but I always, exactly what you said, I have to look and assess my crowd.
Exactly.
Are they rowdy? Do they want to sing? Do I need to get them singing before they'll listen to me?
Exactly. Interesting. That's it.
Sometimes I feel like, especially with if they're rambunctious, I feel it's like a class. Like I do the same thing with my students. If I see that they're rambunctious, I'm going to make sure we sing something really loud, really fast, and that gets all that energy out of them.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and then, now they're ready to calm down a little bit. And now they're going to listen. So, you kind of have to meet people. And I think what you said, what I'm getting is you kind of meet the audience where they are.
Yep.
And they're there to see you, so they know your material. But you're right. Every crowd has its personality.
Absolutely. And do you find when you're doing a show that you like to have songs that you've done a lot, or do you like to bring in new material?
That's a good question. It's funny. I almost would rather do the new stuff just so that I'm excited about it. But there are songs that people will ask you to do over and over again.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I used to be, I would always try to make every show brand spanking new and all my own stuff because, of course, nobody else was singing my songs, and I was trying to. And every once in a while, my husband, George, who's a great singer, would just say, for God's sake, sing something they know.
Well, yes, you're right. And I try to do that too. Like I'll try to do things that they know and get their attention, and then I'll sneak in
their ears.
Yeah.
Relax a little from having to think so hard.
Right. Then I'll sneak in one of mine. And then a lot of, like your audience, I'm sure, knows your stuff. So a lot of my audience tends to know my stuff.
Yeah.
And things like that. And then, but I really like to get them singing. I love to get the audience to just, where they can't even help themselves.
Yeah.
Or call and response stuff. Or like you, I like to write funny songs, and sometimes I'll write songs where they can learn it really quickly, and then I have them respond. So, I'd like to be connected to an audience, as obviously you do.
Oh, God.
It's the best feeling.
Yeah, it's a team sport. We throw the ball out, they throw it. If we're lucky, they throw it back.
Yeah. So what also do you prefer like a big crowd where, like an auditorium, or do you prefer a smaller space? What is the best for you? What's the best feeling?
The best feeling is 120 people. I want everybody to think they're in my living room. I've performed for a lot of people, and I've performed for 2 people. So, I made a rule at one point: if I outnumber you, I'll just buy you a drink and we'll go home. But But mostly, I like the intimacy of like 54 Below or Birdland, or a small theater, 250, something like that, because then everybody can feel like they're in the room.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we just did the food section of our show.
Yep.
Now, are there certain things that are there certain dishes that have memories for you that can bring you back to a good time? Like, what's a dish that you're like, I like after the show, for instance, if you could reward yourself, what would you get?
Guacamole.
What is it?
Really good guacamole.
Oh, okay. See, I love that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I spent my teenage and college years in Texas. I was born and raised and Dad was at the studios, was in the movies. But when I was 14, I went to Texas and lived there for the next 8 years. And my reward for, when things were good, really good guacamole, really great chips. Thank you very much. That's why I wear elastic pants. Love guacamole.
I love that. But that's a nice, healthy thing. Like, I think everybody has that.
Yeah.
Has that thing, it's like, after I do a show or whatever it is that you do that you want to reward yourself with that. So that's your... And how about if you're having a bad day? What's your comfort food on a bad day?
Well, it has to have sugar in it.
Yes.
I'm sorry and I'm trying really hard to get over that one. But if I'm low, it's got chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, delicious. Beautiful.
An entire bag of chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Do you cook as well? Do you like to cook?
I've learned to cook. I was never, it used to be my big meal that I cooked was chicken boiled in Italian dressing. That was what I cooked when I met my husband. During COVID, I learned how to cook.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people learned to cook. Okay, let's just scroll through some of our comments. I just want to make sure I'm not ignoring anybody. And we have a lot of great people that have joined us. Keith Torgan says, thank you for this great conversation. Keith Torgan is a wonderful songwriter, and he writes a lot of stuff for children as well. And his wife is an amazing flautist, and so they play. And Keith, can you please type in when your show is at Green Room 42? Now, Danielle, I'm sure, had many thoughts about what you said about the song Portrait and how you visit. Danielle is a spiritual medium. So she and I have talked at great length about these things. Do you, there are other songs that you almost feel that were channeled?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So go ahead.
The Rose.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. That was, I say, I'm the window that happened to be open when that one wanted to come.
Wow.
Yeah. It's probably the easiest song and the fastest song I've ever written.
Wow.
Yes. Rose, The Portrait was one. The one about my dad was one. The really good ones.
Yeah.
There was one that I wrote called Ship in a Bottle that Barbara Cook used to thrill me to death.
Oh my God, I loved Barbara Cook.
Oh, she was an angel on the planet. Yeah,
yeah, she really was. That was that unexpected. I remember a mentor of mine took me to see her, and I'll never forget it because I was really resistant. I was young. I was in my 20s. And he said, no, you have to hear Barbara Cook. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't even know who she is. Like, yeah, right. I was just a brat. I was being bratty. And I sat in that audience, and within like half a song, I thought, how is she producing those sounds? And then by the second song, I was in it to win it. And I just felt everything. And I became a huge fan. And that was many, many, many years ago. But that's another one, folks. If you're younger, you don't know who Barbara Cook is, check out Barbara Cook's music. But so she did Ship in a Bottle.
She did Ship in a Bottle. She recorded Errol Flynn.
Wow.
One of mine called Dreaming. Yeah. I was blessed. I was blessed that she liked some of my more poignant things.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Dreaming has gotten a lot of attention by a lot of different stars, hasn't it?
Yes, it had. That was a really interesting song for me to. I was so in love with Bruce Springsteen, and you remember that song "I'm on Fire"?
Of course,
I'm on fire.
That's the one, and I was listening to it, and I loved the groove. And I had a record player. I was playing a record player.
Yeah.
And I started playing with that groove, and the last line of the song came, and I wrote it backwards. And that was the first time I'd written a song backwards, which I do a lot now. Oh, well, what's the story? Line. So frequently now I write songs backwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard in another interview that you said that you like to, sometimes it's just the line and you'll write the song out. And I could not agree more, because that's exactly the way that I write.
Yeah.
It's almost like the center of the song, and then it builds out from that.
Exactly. It's the melted chocolate in the middle of the baked Alaska.
Yeah, the payoff almost, you know,
Exactly.
like, I love that. So that was really, it was wonderful to just listen to little clips of things that you said over time as a songwriter. I mean, as a singer, I truly believe that you are divinely inspired. I mean, and I'm not saying that for any other reason other than I believe it. I just really believe that you channel something that is higher than you, and that comes through your body and it vibrates through.
I think you know what? It's you know, I don't mean to be modest here or anything, but I think you're right. Music is my church.
Yes.
And it's my spirituality, and I think that when I'm allowed to sing, which is a gift, you know, I'm just a tube, and somewhere through my phone.
Absolutely.
We are but vessels.
That's it.
I always felt that. You know, I always, before I go on stage or anything, if I have to public speak or anything, I always, like my mantra is, I always say, God, make me a vessel for your message and not my ego.
Ooh.
So that, you know, as a performer, it's very easy to get that, you know, that thing going. But if I just say that to myself, then I leave myself open to be whatever I'm supposed to be in that moment, you know?
Yeah, it's the weirdest. I hadn't thought about this until we're having this conversation, but it's the only time in my life when I seem to be egoless.
I love that.
I'm singing. It's like I sort of get out of the way of something.
How do you feel? Okay, so now, how do you feel about studio work? Do you like it? Or do you find it to be... Well, tell me what you feel about studio work.
It's very different. It's much more precise. I've learned to love it. I was really lucky in that the very first things I recorded, because I've never been in a studio, but this lovely man hired me to be the vocalist on 2 direct-to-disc albums back in the day. And with what he did with the direct-to-disc, they put you in a soundstage surrounded by the orchestra. And then some people with earphones can sit and listen over there, and you record an entire side of an album without stopping. And you do it over and over again until you get the take that they think is right. And so you, in between takes, nothing stops, so you can hear people turning pages. You can hear all the ambience of it. It's a live experience.
Wow.
I learned how to sing with a microphone because it was like I was on stage.
Right.
So, and I learned how to love the sound of my voice, because I didn't particularly like the sound of you know how you look at a picture and you sit up too big, you think, oh my God, my voice is too, and I learned to appreciate the sound of my voice, and I learned how to be subtle, and I learned how to pull things in, because I'm one of these, you know, I came from learning how to do this was that was the challenge of working in a studio.
Yes, absolutely. I love the studio, actually. I love it. But it's true, it goes backwards from what we learned as performers, right? Because you usually are on stage first, you're right, and then you go in it. I love that, though.
It's the same thing kind of with film and acting, though, isn't it? With stage, you're acting out here when the camera's on, the camera's like right here on you.
I started doing television. The first TV show I did, the sound man, God bless him, came up to me and he said, "You see that? That's a microphone. It picks up everything. You don't project." And I went, oh, I don't have to project. Okay, it took me a while to learn that one.
Wow. Listen, I have an apology to make. I'm taking care of my girlfriend's dog. I have a little dog. But my girlfriend's dog is now fast asleep and she's snoring. And it's very loud. So if you hear that, it's not me, it's London.
Then that's my dog.
Yeah.
Rosie, old blind Rosie, she snores all the time.
Oh my God, So I'm thinking, oh my God, how embarrassing. I don't want her to think that someone has fallen asleep. It's the dog.
In my house, there's only one old dog that snores.
That's
Me.
Okay. All right, so we have come to the end of our show. I can't believe the hour flew by. Amanda, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come on. What a lovely, lovely hour this has been.
Oh, honeys, I feel like I've got 2 new best friends.
Yes, we love you.
Anytime.
We loved you before, now we love you for a whole new reason where it's just, but I always ask, I ask our guests to leave the audience with something that will inspire them, because most of the people that listen in are people that are creative in some way. What would you say about just creativity in general? How would you leave us?
Oh, boy. My husband gave me the best lesson I ever learned for singing, and I think it's true for writing as well. And he said, just stand still and tell the truth.
And tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Wow.
And I'm writing, tell the truth.
That's beautiful.
You don't have to be fabulous. You don't have to sit in whatever. Just tell the truth. That's where the power is.
Oh, I love that. I just love that. That's it. We're going to end on that. Please go to amcbroom.com for all of Amanda's upcoming shows. Listen to all her music. My cousin Rena, who is just a beautiful, beautiful person, said a fantastic show. She does not waste words. And we have, after the show, we'll go back and look at all the questions and do a lot of things. What?
Rena said she sang the Rose in high school at the talent show.
Yay!
And you know, Amanda, I have a little story. I said, now I'm not going to tell that story, but just a quick story. When I was in high school, same thing, the Rose, because I graduated in 1980, so the Rose was like the biggest song ever, right? It still is, but, you know, it was new. So our choral group, we got to go to Washington, D.C. because we had done really well in competitions. And I got to sing, I was the one chosen to sing the Rose at across from the White House for, it was Mondale because Carter was at Camp David. But it is one of those moments in my life. Every time I hear the Rose, I think of it. And so I just want to tell you that. But someone said, oh, you need to tell Amanda. I said, I'm not going to tell her that story. But once, when you said that, Leo, I said, I got to tell Amanda that.
Yes. And someday, over some really nice risotto and a glass of wine, you got to sing it for me.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm a big ham. Absolutely. And you know what? I'll stand there and just tell the truth. How about that?
I wish you were in my living room the other day because I just put it on my karaoke and sang it knowing that you were coming.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you to Leo Rodriguez. I don't know what I'd do without Leo. Amanda McBroom, my goodness, what a lovely human being you are. And how
Maria.
Yeah, we're gonna be buddies. I can't wait. And I'm gonna cook for you. I love to cook, so okay. Thank you, everybody. Come back and see us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We love and appreciate you. And good night.
Well.
Yay! Thank you.
Bye.
It's who I am.